Hi everyone, #1 Marmaduke fan here, and today we're going to be performing a little bit of a thought experiment. So I'm looking at Doonsebury by Gary Trudeau. This comic strip has been around since the Vietnam War, and I swear, at least the entire time I've been alive reading newspaper comics, Doonsebury writes, there are two kinds of jokes in Doonsebury. If a Republican is in office, then the joke is going to be like, I remember for 8 years he drew George W. Bush as a floating Caesar helmet with nothing. It was like he was invisible. He was an invisible fascist, and then the floating Caesar helmet would say something stupid because Bush is stupid, right? And that is the entirety of the comic strip. Every single day, a Republican is in office. If a Democrat is in office, doing the exact same things that annoy Gary Trudeau when a Republican is in office, then Gary Trudeau does slice of life humor about like average people and like their teenagers and stuff, which means it is, I guess there's a cast of characters in Doonsebury who I'm supposed to care about and who are supposed to matter, but every 4 or 8 years or so he takes a break from excuse me, cough squad, for windows of time from 4 to 8 years, Gary Trudeau takes a break from telling us any kind of story or getting us involved in his cast of characters whatsoever to just complain about Trump. So I don't know who this guy is supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be a Fox News Trump guy. Now, there's a conservative counterpoint to Doonsebury, Mallard Fillmore, and I'd guess that, you know, maybe if you like Doonsebury, you hate Mallard Fillmore, and if you like Mallard Fillmore, you hate Doonsebury. But the point of this is, anyone's politics aside, I want you to figure out what is the gag in this comic strip. I know the gag is supposed to be Trump supporters, am I right? Fox News, am I right? Let's try to read this and suss out what the setup and what the punt payoff is supposed to be. Roland B. Headley Jr. at Real RBH Jr. POTUS still steam that fake media by making big deal of 41's selflessness, courage, competence, etc. was trafficking in blatant subtext. So insulting. So the joke is, haha, Trump is so stupid. He thought that people in the fake news media used the occasion of George H.W. Bush's death to insult the Trump administration. So if Trump had just like made that up whole cloth, well then, yeah, we've got a good joke. How silly of Trump to think that people were insulting. Oh, except for all the hit pieces and articles and progressive think pieces, which did insult Donald Trump on using the occasion of George H.W. Bush's death to do that. So I guess good job, Gary. If no one paid attention to the news, and we lived in an alternate universe in which the news pieces we read didn't exist, this gag would have been salient. #2, another tweet. Ivanka/Clinton comparisons are a disgrace. Crooked stored email on secret basement server, while First D used public server anyone could hack. #transparency. So she's the first lady. What's First D? I don't know. First Democrat? What? And how dare anyone compare something Ivanka did to? But notice how when the joke is this is supposed to be like a right-wing caricature, right? So in making fun of the right-wing caricature, Gary can't gloss over the fact that Crooked had stored an email on a secret basement server, which he later bleached. So, Ivanka is a hypocrite. All right. This is the weirdest one. Overheard my kids planning to use fake IDs to buy cereal per POTUS. When busted, they claimed they were joking, not who they were as teenagers. Why are they getting fake ID to buy cereal? You get a fake ID to buy alcohol, to buy cigarettes. Okay, and then they claim they were joking, not who they were as teenagers. Well, wait, are they pretending to be older than they are? Or are they making fake IDs? Are these like 20-something, 30-somethings living in your basement getting a fake ID to buy cereal? Trump says he's changed? Oh, look at this. Well, I think we've got some subtle cultural commentary on Fox News. Look at that. You know how Fox News has lots of blonde anchors? Well, the problem is, because Gary Trudeau has lived in his basement in his drawing studio, drawing the same Tom Preston-style straw man comic every day for 30 years or 40 years, Gary is not hip to what's woke. So I know the joke is supposed to be, ha, Fox, the culture at Fox News and their bimbos, and I right. But Gary, look at how you are presenting a woman's body. Look at how you're presenting a blonde, busty woman as the face of ignorance at Fox News. Shame. Male privilege. Shame on you, Gary Trudeau. Check your privilege. It's just pathetic. All it would take is for Gary to get on the rock. If millennials cared, if anyone except like the 5 boomer hippies who still read this comic cared about Gary Trudeau, this is the kind of panel that could get him kicked off of newspapers. Source: frustrated by pace of caravan, slowed by strollers, walkers, the White House tried to bus criminal invaders to the U.S. border in time for midterms. So the idea... Does MS-13 exist, Gary Trudeau? Is there or is there not a problem of young Mexican girls being sex trafficked? So the gag is the caravan is comprised totally of mothers with their strollers and old ladies with their walkers. So Trump, because he's so eager to manufacture this crisis, he's going to bus illegal immigrants into the United States? That doesn't even make sense with what Trump is, Gary. You're straw manception. I'm getting sucked into the black hole. As his grandparents' mother, 2 wives, in-laws are all immigrants, POTUS shows best moral courage to vilify immigrants. Personally painful, but hashtag country first. Well, gee, Gary, do you think there might be an important distinction between Donald Trump's wife, his parents, and his 2 wives? I don't know. Maybe none of them are involved in child sex trafficking or MS-13. Oh, look, you can follow this guy on the Twitter, kids. You can read real breaking news tweets from Gary Trudeau, owning the Donald Trump administration like all the cool kids. So yeah, number 1 Marmaduke fan, whatever you do in life, whatever you do, please do not become a Doonsebury, no matter what. I don't care what side of the political aisle you are on. Please do not waste your life on 40 years of drawing the same big-nosed, nameless dude where the gag is Bush for 2000 to 2008 and Trump from 2016 clearly until 2024. I can only hope for 8 years of Doonsebury Trump comics to laugh at instead of 4. With that, I'm number 1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. I love not my patrons on Patreon, hashtag Patreon purge, but I love the people who have supported this channel, and I have a Subscribe Star. So I will link to that below. If you sign up for Subscribe Star, even if you don't subscribe to anybody yet, please use my referral link because Subscribestar will support this channel the more people I refer. And everybody who supports me on Subscribestar, you will be thanked at the end of every video this year. And I'm going to do a video detailing my plans for how to thank my subscribers on Subscribestar. So check that out. Support this channel if you like it, and I'll catch you later.